Yeah, that would make sense actually to actually see what the report is all about. So as you can see here on the screen, this is the main chart of the report. Of course, it's a report that goes in depth then in the analysis of all the various technologies that you are seeing on the screen. But essentially, we are listing about 17 AI-enabled technologies that are used in commerce to streamline commerce operation for brands and retailers. And we plotted the use cases according to their level of adoption. So you see low adoption to high adoption, and according to the timeline of implementation. So you have technologies that are faster to implement, other that will take longer to implement. And also we group together these technologies based on what we believe is the impact of the application of these technologies on the retail operation. So as you can see, we have technologies on the green line that are transformational. So we believe they have the potential of changing the way retailers operate. Then on the blue line, we have incremental technologies. So those that they have a broader impact on the operation. They're not exactly transformational, but they have a broader impact on retail operation beyond their specific remit, their specific application. And then we have on the dark blue line, the opportunistic one. So these are the ones that are more focusing on specific use cases, that they don't really have an impact across the organization, but certainly they'll help retailers to make operation more efficient and more effective in that particular remit.
So when I look at this question for you, Filippo, when I look at this from left to right, then green, blue, and kind of purplish, am I correct in assuming then that the ones more to the left are going to have the bigger financial impact over time on the bottom lines of the retailers too? Or is that the wrong way to think about it? Is that not what this is getting at?
No, I don't think it's really about the financial impact. It's more about the impact on the operation. So
the organizational change that will have to be thought about if you're going to do this. Okay.
It's really about the transformational, incremental, and opportunistic. So the one that are transformational, of course, they have the potential to have a bigger impact on the overall operation of retail organization.
Okay, got it. So the retailers then looking at this as we're going to have this discussion have to really think about that in terms of what's the degree of change that's required from doing these things as against what they're assessing is the ROI that can be gained from that too, which is not always a one-for-one exchange. So that's something the retail executives are definitely going to have to think through.
Right. I mean, David, yeah, I'm curious to get your opinion. David, what do you think about, generally any thoughts that you might have about the Techscape that Filippo just shared?
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic foundational place to start for retailers. There's 17 use cases in here and there's no fat, right? So these are all really important use cases for retailers. And I love the way that they're sort of dialed differently. So if you're looking for something that you want to adopt quickly, you can pick the ones that have a speed of adoption of fast, right? And if you want ones that have lower risk, you can do that. I think it's great for retailers to pick something that's going to have a good ROI that is easy to implement so you can get that win under your belt. And then the return on the investment can be used to then power the next thing that you want to go after, right? So you can sort of serialize them and go after several of these. And I think in addition to the Techscape, I a lot of times like to think about use cases across 4 different dimensions. So firstly, I like to think, how can I help the customer? So things like conversational search or better fit for fashion so we can reduce returns, that sort of thing. Those are the types of use cases that I think about for customers. Then I think, how can I help employees? So how can I speed up development of planograms or create a knowledge management center where they can ask questions and get answers very quickly? The third area is, what can I do for product? So can I, for example, analyze customer reviews to look for product issues? Maybe packaging is bad or there's a defect in the product or something like that. And then lastly is, what can I use in IT, which is admittedly the most boring of the 4. But in IT, there are lots of opportunities to speed up coding with coding assistance and things like that. So I think it's really important that retailers look across the entire taxonomy and they get a balance of experimental things that they're not really sure the ROI, but they want to try it out. And then some things that are definitely going to have a strong ROI. And you have sort of a basket of both of those types of use cases to go after.